The Direct Social Work Practice textbook lays out a few different tools that can be utilized when working through opposition to change. One of those tools is positive connotation. The text states that this intervention is when constructive intentions are attributed to what would otherwise be regarded as a client's undesirable or negative behavior. An example of this technique is provided at the end of the chapter when a client is upset that the progress in the helping process is slow and is blaming it on the social worker. The social worker responds by first saying, "I can see that you're anxious to get things worked out, and that's a plus." So in that way, the social worker first points out the positive, that the client seems motivated to progress in their goals. Another tool that the book provides is a therapeutic bind. This technique can be used to confront clients with their own behavior to kind of push them to take responsibility. An example that the book gives is a client who has fears of being rejected and continues to isolate themselves socially despite goals to put themselves out there. The social worker in this case says, "You can either risk being with others or continue as you are, but you said that you wanted your life to be different." So with this technique, the social worker pushes the client by telling them it's either you change your behavior or you don't progress towards your goals. Those tools and the other information from this week's readings, I feel, have helped me gain a better understanding of recognizing and assessing behavior in the context of the helping process. The helping process should always be a collaborative effort between the client and the social worker. The client's opinions and emotions towards the process directly affect goal attainment. A social worker should be able to pick up on a client's behaviors to understand those opinions and emotions. In initial interviews, it's important to let the client lead the conversation and share their experiences with the social worker. During that time, there's an opportunity for the social worker to actively listen and to build an understanding of where the client's at. A lot of times, though, the clients can be vague or unwilling to share their feelings fully, and the social worker has to kind of guide them through that conversation. I feel like I've gained a lot of the important skills that I can utilize to identify patterns in behavior that can identify a client's distrust or misunderstanding of the process or of me as a social worker, a client's progress towards their goals, and other aspects of the client's behavior. Another thing that I feel like I've gained knowledge of is the use of self in the context of the helping process. During the first meetings with the social worker, the client should understand their agency in the process, and the concept of self-determination should be introduced to them. The social worker can be competent and helpful, but if the client isn't motivated or doesn't understand the goals to be reached, they won't be successful. I feel like over this whole semester, I've learned a lot about supporting the client and educating them about their own agency in the helping process. Especially during planning and goal setting, I've learned how to collaborate with clients and draw off of their own wants and aspirations to kind of build the structure for the helping process.